In one of the most obscure periods of history, Igboland was inhabited by dwarfs. Who were these ancient dwarfs and what happened to them? Do you know that similar stories about dwarfs are told in other ancient civilizations, including in Egypt, India, and even in Europe? Curiously, scholars researching into prehistory found that an ancient race with the root name Bo can be found in different parts of the world. They are considered the earliest known human inhabitants of the earth. For example, the Bo people of India were a tribe of forest dwellers that effectively went extinct in 2010 when its last surviving member passed away. The Bo tribe of China lived in caves and are remembered for leaving inscriptions and markings on rock surfaces and inside the caves. This will become important later. In southern Cameroon, the Mbo people historically lived in forests. Similarly, the Abo of Australia, commonly associated with the term Aborigines, lived in forests and rock shelters. Historians believe that the Bo tribes represent remnants of an ancient race that originally populated the earth before recorded history. Then there's the Igbo of Nigeria. Today, let's explore one of the most mysterious chapters of Igbo history. We'll look at what we currently know about the ancient Igbo dwarfs from oral traditions and modern research, and the connection between them, the dwarfs from other ancient civilizations, and the people that became known as the Igbo tribe in the 19th century. Across the world, there are stories about a race of small people who lived before the arrival of the ancestors of present-day people. These dwarfs are remembered as masters of knowledge, and many traditions say they understood the secrets of iron working, bronze casting, healing, ritual practice, and magic. The Niger-Congo belt was recorded to have had many dwarf tribes, but the lower Niger basin especially was populated by dwarfs referred to as the Igbo cavemen before the arrival of taller migrants. In Igbo communities, these dwarfs are called Nwanshi. In Ikom in the Niger Delta, they are called Monkom, and legends say they were the authors of the famous carved stone monoliths found in the Ikom area. The more than 300 monoliths known as Akwanshi to the indigenes are now called the Ikom monoliths. We will come back to this interesting detail shortly. One ancient Igbo migration legend says that before the arrival of Eri, the great progenitor of the Igbo race, dwarfs inhabited Igboland. According to this tradition, the migrants, Eri and his people, settled among them and intermarried with them. The two groups lived together for a long period, and the dwarfs shared mystical knowledge with the newcomers. A modern eyewitness account comes from Chief Dr. Selina Adibua, a lecturer at the Enugu State University College of Medicine, who recalled childhood visits to Nri, where she claimed there were still many dwarfs and that these dwarfs traveled across Igboland, cleansing abominations and establishing shrines and sacred places. Remnants of these dwarfs can still be found in Igboland today. Before we go on to the fate of the Nwanshi, let's look at dwarfs in other civilizations. Just like in Igboland, in many ancient cultures, dwarfs often appear as spiritually gifted craftsmen. In Norse mythology, dwarfs forged magical weapons for the gods. In Greek mythology, they were associated with skilled metal working. In many other African traditions, they are remembered as keepers of hidden knowledge. Interestingly, we find that ancient civilizations such as Egypt imagined dwarfs in surprisingly similar ways to the Igbo. In ancient Egypt, dwarfs were revered and believed to be connected to the gods. One of Egypt's best-known deities, Bes, was a dwarf god associated with childbirth, protection, and the household. Historical records also show that dwarfs also held important positions in royal courts, especially during Egypt's early dynastic and Old Kingdom periods. Some researchers have pointed to these similarities to support theories about a connection between Egypt and Igboland. Also, Egyptologists noted that the high number of dwarfs in the royal cemeteries of the First Dynasty suggests some dwarfs may have been brought into Egypt from elsewhere. On the other hand, this can be contrasted with the treatment of dwarfs in ancient Israel, where dwarfism was considered a punishment from God and dwarfs were excluded from the society. Meanwhile, because linguistic analysis found similarities between the marks or script on the Ikom monoliths, which we will come to in a bit, and stone writings found in India, the historian Professor Catherine Acholonu and her team attempted to find the connection. In studying Indian oral traditions, they found that in the epics of Ramayana, Rama was said to have been a king in Atlantis who left the continent because of sibling rivalry. He ended up in exile in the jungle where he made friends with apes who could write on stone. Rama was later said to have built a city in the rainforest which became the pride of the ancient world. She argued that this ancient city in the rainforest was Igboland, and the engraved stones were the Ikom monoliths. The story of the ancient Igbo dwarfs becomes even more intriguing when we come to the Ikom monoliths in present-day Cross River State. Ikom local folklore says the monoliths were created by dwarfs known as Monkom. The stones themselves are called Akwanshi by the people of Ikom. According to oral traditions in the Niger Delta, the earliest inhabitants of the area were ape-like humans, and these Stone Age humans built the stone monuments and carved designs and inscriptions onto them. Following studies that concluded that many of the carved faces on the monoliths resembled dwarfs, one theory proposes that the monuments preserve the memory of an ancient ape-like civilization that once lived in the lower Niger region. They see the carvings as evidence supporting the local oral tradition about the area's earliest inhabitants, probably the Wanshi. One of the historians who studied the inscriptions on the monoliths, Professor Acholonu, argued that the similarity between the Ikom name for the monolith, Akwanshi, and the Igbo name for the dwarfs, Wanshi, was more than a coincidence. She proposed that the engravers of the monolith were the same ancient dwarf people remembered in Igbo traditions. Professor Acholonu further speculated that the Igbo dwarfs invented the ancient sacred script known as Nsibiri to the Cross River people. This is said to be an adaptation of Nshibiri, which to the Igbo means printed by Ishi. This proto-writing system, now generally known as Usibidi, is associated with the Ekpe society, whose temple is located at the Monolith Circle in Alok village in Ikom. Acholonu argued that the limited knowledge of the Nshi tradition among Cross River communities suggests that the original creators of the monolith as well as the script were a different people. She surmised that the Usibidi script may preserve memories of these early ancestors. Research into the Usibidi script was hampered by the secrecy of the initiates of the Ekpe cult. One of the few anthropologists to study the script in the early 20th century, the British anthropologist J.K. MacGregor, had to be initiated into the Ekpe cult. MacGregor, who carried out a research into Nsibidi from 1909 to 1911 for the Journal of Anthropological Institute of Great Britain, Ireland and Man, recorded that he was told that Nsibidi is traditionally said to have come from Ugwakima, Ebe, Uyanga tribes of the Igbo people, whose legend says they were taught the script by baboons. End quote. It's noteworthy that these particular Igbo tribes were historically recorded to have actively traded with Cross River people, utilizing the Nsibidi script. In Igbo traditions, the Wanshi are now revered as an autochthonous ancestral race of dwarfs who were spiritually gifted. They are believed to be the ancient custodians of the gods and practitioners of foundational spiritual cults. Many stories say they understood the secrets of iron working, bronze casting, healing, ritual practice, and magic, and they taught this knowledge to the migrants that settled among them. The migrants, remembered as Eri's people who became the ancestors of the Igbo, intermarried with the dwarfs, gradually became the dominant population, and eventually replaced them. It is believed that the sophisticated bronze artifacts found in Igbo were created with the knowledge acquired from the dwarfs. Do these stories point to preserved ancient memories? Anthropologists around the world have often found that myths preserve fragments of real events, although those events usually become mixed with symbolism and imagination over many generations. But in the case of the Igbo, modern archaeology has confirmed that people lived in Igboland since time immemorial. Sites such as Ugwele produced evidence of Stone Age occupation stretching back hundreds of thousands of years. Perhaps these were the dwarfs. At present, nobody knows for certain. The mysterious race of dwarfs of Igboland remains one of the most fascinating parts of Igbo history. People like Professor Catherine Acholonu developed bold theories linking Igbo to civilizations across Africa and Asia. Whether one accepts those theories or not, they remind us that there's still so much unknown about ancient Igboland.